If your husband or wife work in the emergency room overnight, chances of them cheating on you is very high. Let me do a quick story time before I clock in. Most doctors and nurses sleep with each other overnight, and they really love the surgeons too. I never knew they had little one-bedroom apartments in hospitals until I started working there. I mean, almost every night, there's a nurse being caught sleeping with a doctor, and they don't get in trouble either. And to make matters worse, majority of them is married. And if it's usually the doctors that's married, but the little young nurses that come in with their tight scrubs on, they be sleeping with y'all husband. The nurses even be sleeping with the housekeepers, but the doctors don't touch the housekeepers because I guess they too good for all that. So if your husband or your wife work in the emergency room overnight, y'all might want to check those emails and text messages because they be in there up to no fucking good. And if your wife wear the tightest scrub she can find on the rack every night to work, she's definitely cheating with a doctor. Stay vigilant.
Now, if you guys been tapped into the platform, this shouldn't be breaking news to you guys. I've been told you guys a long time ago, nurses are some of the biggest birds out there. It is what it is. And it's a reason why certain women choose that profession. And as a man, you gotta pay attention to the profession a woman chooses. That's going to tell you the type of woman that you got. If your girl is in the Navy, if she's in the Army, if she's an air hostess, if she's a body girl, if she is in the nightlife, bro, she's who she is. If your girl works at a job where there are alpha men, she's going. If your girl works in a warehouse, she's going. If your girl works in a call center, she's going. I'm just keeping it real with y'all, bro. If your girl works at a job where there are alpha men around, your girl is going. Don't matter how much she's telling you she love you every day. If your girl is around an alpha man for more than 2-3 hours of the day, she's going. So fellas, be wise out here, man, for real.
Oh my freaking gosh, TikTok. Are y'all ready to follow my journey? So, I recently went to Jamaica by myself for the first time leaving the country. And I went on Valentine's Day. And I spent the most wonderful 4 days of my life in Jamaica. It was a dream come true. I was so nervous on the plane because y'all know about all the crashes that have been going on. And it was my first time leaving the country. And it was my first time meeting my new man. But it was so worth it. When I tell you I had the most amazing time in Jamaica, memories I will never forget, from the beach to the hot tub to Margaritaville to Pier 1. Everything was so romantic. My man was such a gentleman. I loved this trip so much, and it is definitely a trip I will never forget, and I will be going back soon, so stay tuned for this journey, y'all, because this is just the beginning.
Now, this is crazy because that baby is as white as snow. But fellas, trust me, this is a thing. When these chicks done ran through all the dudes, wherever they're from, they now go overseas and do their thing. Once you hear a chick start talking about solo trips or girls trips, bro, she's going overseas for dinner. She's trying to get some new dick. That's all that means. But this is kind of crazy, the fact that she's trying to pin this white baby on the yard, man. That is crazy, man. These chicks out here tripping. This right here is sad, man. It just shows you, fellas. And this is what I mean by you gotta do your research. you gotta do a background check on these women. If you meet a chick, you gotta ask these questions. Have you been on a solo trip before? How often do you take girl trips? When was your last girl trips? Because you gotta check her radar, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know. She might try to pin a baby on you, like what this chick is trying to do. So as a man, just understand, bro. Once a woman took any type of solo trip, if you meet a chick and she like, yeah, I just came back from India or wherever, best believe she got ran. Trust me. All right. But fellas, be careful out here, man. For real.
I was locked up with a man that unalived his wife, both of his daughters, and his newborn baby son. All because he came in the house and caught his wife cheating with another man in their bed. True story. I had been in the county maybe 4 months. I sat next to this dude in the day room one day. He had been in there maybe 9 or 10 months, maybe a year at that time. He told me, he said, man, life is precious, man, and never take it for granted. He was always preaching to me all the time. I never understood why. I thought maybe it was just jailhouse talk. Finally, one day, I built up the courage to ask him what he was in there for, because around that time, I was still going through the trials of being incarcerated, not knowing how to accept it, being that it was my first time ever being locked up. He said, man, I unalived my wife, my 2 daughters, and my son, my newborn baby son. I said, for what? He said, I really don't remember. All I remember is walking in the house one day. I got out of work early and caught her in the bed with another man. I said, so you took out the kids too? He said, I remember taking her out. I don't remember nothing else after that. Now, from the looks of this man, he looked like a regular type of dude. Like, he was probably going home one day because he was always in good spirits, but he was more so quiet into himself. He just watched TV. I found out later on that the man got 50 years. For all of that, they called it a passion of crime. Now, I'm not justifying what he did, but I will say is, when you play with a man's heart, you don't know what he's capable of doing. What the kids have to do with it, we would never understand that. I don't agree with that at all. But 50 years was not enough time for what that man got. All I'm saying is, don't play with a man's heart. Don't tell a man you love him. Don't have a man paying all these bills, doing everything right by you, and then just come to find out that you got a whole nother individual in the bed that he lay down and make love to you in. Because not only can you lose your life, everybody in that house could lose their life because he probably blacked out. That's why he don't remember nothing. Free game. Y'all start watching the YouTube channel. The link is in my bio. Go subscribe. Turn the notifications on.
This is sad because this is a man who blacked out completely. No man is exempt from a situation like this, and you can't predict how you're going to react in a situation like this, because when you black out emotionally, you don't know what you're liable to do. Fellas, understand something. Women who play games will always play with your heart. So if you meet a woman and within 2-3 weeks of meeting her, she's playing little games, that's a woman who will play with your heart. So as a man, you got to know what you're signing up for, and you got to be careful. But the reality is this, fellas. Women who play games like this are usually doing it for the thrill. They are thrill seekers. They are daredevils. I remember when I was working on my old job, I had a chick who invited me over to her crib while her guy was at work. I was young, I was dumb, and I was horny. So I didn't make the move. And while being over there, it had really hit me like I'm really in this nigga crib. The baby was upstairs crying, and I'm smacking his chick on the couch. And I was more so mad at myself when I think back about it, because dog, you really put your life on the line for this bird? I was really disappointed, man. Fellas, that's never a smart move, because you're just playing in that woman game. Like I said, women like that are thrill seekers. When they get bored in their relationship, when they don't respect their husband or boyfriend, that's the type of game they play. And it's crazy because the chick from my job, she told me this. She was the one who told me this. Because that's the thing about when you work with women, they talk a lot. They tell you everything about them. All you got to do is sit back and listen. And before you know it, you're clapping. But this right here is sad, man. Fellas, this is not a situation any man ever want to go through, because you don't know what you will do in a situation like this. That's why it's not wise to play with a person's heart. That's why it's not wise to play with people's emotions. Because if your emotions take over you, you can't control yourself. Because that man was in a state of mind where he wasn't able to control his emotions. Seeing that put him in a dark place. This right here is sad, man. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. It's your boy AQ. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm out.
Okay, I'm showing up for you. I'm giving you my energy. I am in your presence. You should pay for this.
If you haven't yet, go get you some of that merch. Y'all already know, don't feed the birds. That's what it is. We don't feed the birds over here. So if you rock with your boy, go get you some of that good merch.